Hello everybody and welcome to another one of my videos. So today we're all the way up to part number 5, sorry, will be to part number 6 probably, of making a very simple game with Unity. The game that I'm making is going to be something of an egg catcher game for those of you who haven't watched the other parts until now. Last time that we were here, I had I had tried to make the egg spawning be a bit more interesting, which I didn't really actually get to finish, but we'll actually come back to that point a bit later on when the game is properly done or almost done, and we'll start tweaking uh, that that part of the game when we get there. Today I'd like to go ahead and actually let's go ahead and comment that. Today I'd like to go ahead and actually get into role mechanics. So let's see how we're going to do this, because there are lots of ways to do it. We know that the game updates 60 times a second, or at least that's the standard for Unity. Hopefully it will be 60 times a second and I don't have to somehow impose my own update tick rate for the game, which is very complicated and hard to optimize. But I'll trust Unity, at least with such a simple game, to do its job properly. And let's go ahead and see role mechanics. Role mechanics. Rolling. Because we do need to understand how something rolls, and if we're going to do it properly, like according to our real world and mechanics in the real world, or if we're just going to try to abstract that into something that looks and feels as realistic as possible but is not very complicated to implement. We'll see if I actually make it through, because it is quite complicated, I'm pretty sure. Right. um, So I went ahead and I've googled a bit of role mechanics. I will be interested to have acceleration, because it makes for a bit more of a challenging game if the eggs accelerate while they are rolling down. And the velocity usually is the velocity of the initial velocity, and the acceleration times the time. So how many I don't know, milliseconds or seconds went by, right? So if we go ahead and look at this game over here, I haven't actually painted or set any role, any of the what are they called, the ramps. I didn't actually make the ramps, but we can abstractly think of them as some coming somewhat from the middle of the coops all the way down towards the floor, or they shouldn't even be at the floor, they can be a bit taller up. But in order for this to be a bit more easily to understand, let's just go ahead and paint them over like empty image boxes that have absolutely no functionality other than for us to see where the eggs should be traveling down. Let's see if I can do this in an effective manner. Yeah, let's put an image. Now the trouble is that I can't rotate it, if I'm not mistaken. Can I? Oh, I can actually rotate it. That's cool. I didn't know that I could do that. So let's go ahead and make these images maybe like so. Not so wide, obviously. We would like the top coop to come up a bit higher than the bottom coop. So let's go ahead and swivel that around, and I'm thinking a bit more, or actually make it shorter, swivel it more. I said swivel it? Is that a word? I don't even know anymore. Maybe this will do. I think this will do. We'll just leave it like that for now. I'm not sure how we'll deal with the problem of the anchors. Let's go ahead and rename this to upper left ramp. Now let's go for top left ramp. That's the top left ramp. Let's duplicate this one once because we will need another one for the other side. Can I actually I was curious to know if I could actually just move it around so that it's at the same position. You know what? Wait, so this is 389 172. So let's go for 389 minus 172. And then we'll need to move the Z axis, the rotation, the rotation, to, if this is 62, let's go for 62 exactly. And then this one will have 124. Not quite. No, not quite actually. A bit more. So if this one is 62, oh, it was too much. So why isn't it up? Oh, you have to add 90 degrees. I'm a dumbass. So 62 plus 90 is, no, that's not correct. You have to add, you know what, let's go for minus minus 28. No. Okay, so this is 0. 0 is like this. 45 is 45 in that direction. 90 is all the way in that direction. Minus 62? Okay, minus 62 then it is. Good. So we've got the upper ramps. Let's call this one top right ramp. And for the bottom we'll need different kinds of ramps. I'm hoping that this is okay. We'll see. Let's go ahead and make a new object again. Actually, you know what? Okay, let's go for 48 and 575. I like round numbers, just in case you guys didn't notice. 38 and 575. It's a bit easier to remember them, right? Because I'll want to have the same ramp width on the other one as well. On the others that I'm making for the bottom as well. Image 38, and let's go for 575 at first, but maybe we'll come back to it later. 90 degrees would be nice, but it's not going to be 90. Let's go for 70. Oh, okay, that's not going to work either. I think that I'll have to put the floor a bit more downwards. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's go for center, and then move this all the way over here. Okay. Is the width? Yes, the width is okay. And the cat is wants to get in, but I'm not going to let it because it'll just get in my way. I'm trying to work now. Okay. She's really annoying. She keeps wanting in or out of rooms. I'm guessing that other people who have cats can relate to this. Okay, let's get back to this image. I think 70 should be okay, but let's work on... Actually, let's make it a lot less long. Let's go for 475. And that ramp doesn't look like... Well, maybe it does. Actually, yeah, we'll just leave it like that for now. Let's just leave it like that. We'll call this one the bottom left ramp. Let's duplicate it. Go for 354 and minus 70 and rename it to bottom right ramp. Okay, looks good. Can I actually set the points over here? Is that even possible for such objects? No. Okay, let's just undo that. We might... Actually, that's not going to be needed if I'm not mistaken. Because these are just going to help us decide where the egg spawning is going to happen and where the direction, the destination X and Y on the map is going to be needed, right? So we can understand that for example, for the bottom left ramp, the eggs are going to spawn at around minus 354 on the X and minus 446 on the Y, and they will need to end up somewhere around, well, just add, oh, the width and the height cuts. Okay, the width and the height. No, this is the no. That's not the correct position. So I'll have to extrapolate these points over here, because, and I'll tell you why exactly in a moment. Because this is the center position, right? For the center of the object, if I'm not mistaken. So if I modify the width, the other things should stay the same. Yes, they do. Okay. But if I modify X or Y, then it's going to move along. Yep, there we go. And let's go back now. Was this 389? Yep. Okay, so I'll have to think about where those points actually are on the map. But we'll try to go get let's try and make the eggs spawn where they should. So right off the bat, just to prove the point, I'm going to enable all chicken coops and have them have a 360 expand intensity. Which means they will take a lot of time to spawn eggs. Let's go ahead and see if that works. Oh, okay, cool. So the eggs on top look to be exactly where they should be, in the center of the object. The only thing that we'll need to do is for the eggs on the bottom is actually oh, this would be perfect. I don't know why I would want to actually mess around with anything else. So let's go ahead and move the ramps to the so that they reach the center of the object for the bottom ones. Let's move this to 550 maybe. Let's go for -75 and move it up towards the center a bit more. Let's go for 570. There we go. That looks pretty good. And we'll need minus 78. Oh, sorry. No, that's too much. 77, 76. Okay, that looks almost perfect. So let's go for 409, 443 minus 409 minus 443, and then with a height of 570 height and a 76 degree. Okay, let's go ahead and spawn eggs. That actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty convinced that that's going to be perfect. I don't know how the graphics are going to be made, but I'm guessing that the actual graphics are going to be a lot higher than they currently are, like the boxes, right? So we'll keep the boxes, but we'll have like taller ones. Oh, but if we keep the boxes with taller... Now that's not a problem. That's actually not a problem because we'll have see-through... Anybody on the chat, by the way? No. Okay. That's actually not a problem because the graphics are going to have alpha around the parts that are not used, and then yeah, so this part right here is just going to be the coop on top of which the ostrich sits, and then the ostrich itself is going to be here with a longer neck, like over here or over there or whatever. Okay, so we'll keep that so that it makes it easier for us to spawn and move the eggs. Right, so right now we'll need to see where the positions are so that we translate the eggs towards those positions, right? So what I'll do actually is have another object over here as a marker. Let's go ahead and recolor the ramps. Let's go for brown. That's not brown. How do I get brown now? Okay, that's brown. So let's get brown on these ramps. Sounds weird, I know. Let's get brown on the ramps. Or maybe it only sounds weird in my twisted mind. Okay, that looks good. And let's put down some more objects which will serve to help the player, not the player, to help the eggs get to the right position, because we'll just translate the current, we'll extrapolate the current position of the egg with the destination of the egg, and we'll just incrementally go towards it while accelerating the amount of pixels that it moves every time. So let's go ahead and get 4 more markers. They are also going to be images, squares to be exact, because I do want, in this case, I actually do want the what are they called? The thingies. I forgot what they're called. So we'll want the eggs to go over here. Or over here. Yeah, let's go for that position. I think it's better. And let's say or alternatively, so that we don't actually have more objects on the game screen, we can just lay down the objects, see what the X and Y positions are, modify them with the correct screen width and height adjusters so that they have the correct position on different types of screens, and then just extrapolate it from there. It's really up to us how we do it. I'm thinking, what am I thinking? I'm thinking both options are very viable at this point. Let's go ahead and have the same width and height for these objects. Again, let's go for 1110 and -3 to 3. That looks good. I'm thinking right now if we want the eggs to have free fall as well, and in that case, yeah, that can be done with a bit of physics, probably. Okay, so this is going to be ramp number, which one is this? Ramp 4. So this is R4, no. How are we going to call this one? Egg objective, not objective. Goal, not goal. End helper. Let's just go for ramp 4 helper. Duplicate it. Go for -1110. Okay, looks good. And this is going to be ramp number 3. Ramp number 3 helper. Duplicate this one again and have bigger -y, which is going to go to, let's see, do these actually help? 443 is over here, so I'm guessing about 500. Let's go for -500, -510, 15. Okay, -515. The X should be okay, I'm guessing. Actually, let's go for, yeah, this should be okay, whatever. And this is going to be ramp number 1, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that is ramp number 1 helper. And by helper I mean purely visual at this point. Maybe it won't be purely visual, we'll see. And duplicate that one as well, go for 1110, call it ramp number 2 helper. Okay, looks good. Let's give them another color. Let's say teal. I don't know if this actually helps anybody, but I like to have them colored differently so that I don't mistake them between each other. And it makes the game look more like a game even though I don't have the graphics yet. Alright, and now the fun part begins. Trying to set... No, actually, you know what? I won't set any. These are just going to be purely cosmetic, used right now just to tell us where the positions should be for translating the position of the eggs. Okay, so that's 110, 323 for the upper ones, or minus 110, 323. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and initialize those once we have the adjusted screen thingies done. Let's hardcode them in at this point. I'd like to have, you know, the find get position things, but no, that actually won't work. That actually will not work, funnily enough. So let's make the helpers. They will be called pair. No, just a pair. Pair. Does Unity have not have pairs? We'll keep this open for now. Unity pair. Is there a pair? Key value pair list something? Only dictionaries? Let's see. Oh, I'd have to make my own object for that, which just seems so annoying. Okay, I'd have to make a dictionary for all of them, I think. What is a bad guy? Oh, this is the bad guy. No, that's just too... I'm not gonna make an object for that. I just need a pair of stuff. Is there really no pair? Pair class? Unity utility pair. Public static class pair. Unity simple pair. Point. Oh, I still need to have a structure. Let's go for point. If I don't have to point effect, no, just point. Let's see if this works. Ramp 1 end point and point. No, it has no idea what a point is. Could not be found. I still have to declare it as a structure. Well, fuck. Let's just do that then. It's such annoying. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. You can't actually copy this. There we go. X and Y. Public int. Perfect. Also, what I forgot to see is how you actually stop Visual Studio from doing this bullshit with the parentheses. So we'll have ramp1 endpoint, ramp. Let's just define them. No, you can't do it. So let's just define them here. Ramp1 endpoint, ramp2 endpoint, ramp3 endpoint, and ramp4 endpoint. All right. Afterwards, we'll give them each their x gets. What did I say for ramp1? Let's go. Ramp1 minus 110 minus 110 times, if I'm not mistaken, screen width adjuster, width, not height, width adjuster. Oh, these are floats. Crap. Okay, so let's make them float then. Good. Then we'll have ramp1 endpoint dot y gets minus 515 times screen height adjuster. Let me see if it's times or oh wait. So the current, let's just do a quick maths right here. Calculator. So we have, let's say 1080p. I think, no, it's not 1960, it's 1920, right? 1920 by 1080, yeah. 1920 divided by 2560 is 0.75. So if you do this, you'll get 82, which is a bit less, which is correct. Yes, so it's times. Right, I wanted to check that to be sure that I wasn't doing some bullshit. And let's go ahead and just copy paste this 3 more times. Oh, what the hell? How did it do that? You can't even trust copy paste nowadays. So it's xy, 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 xy. And let's go for ramp2, ramp3, and 4. And let's see the other ones. So ramp2 is going to be 110 by 515 by minus 515. Ramp3 is going to be minus 110 minus 323 minus 110 minus 323, and this is going to be 323 again with plus, if I am not mistaken. Let's go, that is correct. So right now what we've done is we've adjusted the endpoints for where the eggs need to go when we start translating them, right? Good. So one part of the game script updating is generating the eggs. Another part will be to check if, so it's still going to be in here. We'll check if we have any eggs to, wait 1 second. I think this should be done in the egg script itself, but wait, no, the egg script has no update function. And the egg objects themselves are created in the game script. So the list of eggs are over here. I'm thinking we should just iterate through the spawn eggs list and just move them towards their target for starters, like in a very simple fashion. So let's go for 4. Int x is 0, x smaller than spawned eggs dot length. Is there a length? Capacity? No. Range? Count. Okay. Do I have to put this? No. X plus plus. Get back over here. Thank you very much. So we'll just go through all of the eggs and say spawned eggs at how do you iterate the lists? I could do a for each actually. I think the for each is better in this case. Let's see how you do a for each in Unity, because I forgot. Unity for each, lists and dictionaries. There we go. So for each egg in spawned eggs, what type and identifier? Oh, so it has to be game object. Game object egg, game object egg in spawned eggs, because we're interested in the local position of the egg, right? And we'll do so we've put velocity and acceleration into the eggs, and they are 0 at first, right? We want them to start off smoothly with a small acceleration and then increasingly get faster up to a maximum top speed. And the top speed for eggs is going to be dependent on the ramps, right? So we'll want the we will want the upper ramp eggs to reach a higher top speed, as they are just at the point over here, than the ones at the bottom, right? So I'm not sure if this is going to be done with mathematical mechanics calculus regarding real world physics. That would be a bit too complicated, much too complicated actually. But we will do it by trying. So let's go ahead and say top speed top is going to be we'll need floats for this. Float, let's just say top speed. Let's go for this naming scheme. Top speed top and top speed bottom. And we will then have to modify them accordingly with the width and height thingies. We'll only need one modifier although both, will we need both modifiers? I'm trying to figure out if this is somehow going to impact negatively devices with different size screens, and probably it will. But I think the impact is going to be very small. I mean, maybe some people are going to be able to get high scores because the speeds on some devices are arguably smaller by some percentages than the speeds on other devices, depending on the width and height of the screens accordingly. But we'll just keep it simple for now, and we'll say top speed top is going to get, I don't know, how many pixels per second do we want? Rolling down should take around 2 seconds in total. This is just going to be a guessing game because I'm not a scientist, I'm not a mechanic or an engineer. Actually, I am an engineer, but it's engineer of programming and not of classical mechanics or, you know, practical things. But let's just go ahead and set it to 100 for now. We'll want to cover 100 pixels per second at top speed, maybe, times screen width adjuster, and we'll have a top speed bottom of, let's say, what is the difference between these degrees? 76, 62. The difference should be like 15% at most. So let's go for 85 times screen width adjuster. Okay, so now we have the top speeds as well, and let's say if egg.getComponent xscript dot velocity is smaller than top speed. Oh, we have to see where the egg is. That's already a lot of things that you have to take into consideration. You know what? We'll make a switch case because we have four cases anyway. So let's go ahead and make a switch case. Switch egg.getComponent xscript dot spawn point. Get back over here. Thank you very much. And we'll say case 1 break, case 2 break, case 3 break. If we had a lot more positions for these eggs, then I would have switched this code part to the egg script itself, but we only have 4 cases, so that's not going to be that big of an overhead, although it does look a bit, you know, not as fun as it should be, or something along those lines. Right, so if it's in case 1, if I'm not mistaken, 1, 1 and 2 are on the bottom, 3 and 4 are on the top. I'm not sure if you guys can hear my cat right now, but she's really annoying, so I'm just going to let her, and hopefully she won't mess with my work. Cats don't really give a damn if the eggs are going to spin correctly down the ramps or not, so to say. Okay, so these two are for the bottom. Let's go ahead and comment that. Bottom left, bottom right, top left, and top right. Is that correct? One, come on. Yes, that indeed looks as if it were correct. Right, so if the egg is on the bottom left, we will need to first of all check if the current velocity is the correct one, or if it's not the correct one, if it's not the max. If it's the max, then we can't actually accelerate the eggs past that point, at least not maybe with higher levels the acceleration is going to get higher. We'll see. I don't know, maybe we'll have some big eggs which, you know, they weigh more and thus they can roll down faster than the smaller eggs, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and check that out. So if egg dot get component egg script dot velocity is smaller than top speed bottom, then we'll add that velocity to it. We'll say egg component egg dot we'll need just copy paste the whole thing, equals plus, so it's going to be the old velocity plus the acceleration times the time. But we know so egg acceleration by itself is only going to be needed when size comes into account, right? For normal big eggs or super eggs, and this should be taken into consideration when the eggs spawn, right? Now, the biggest problem that you will have in that case is that when eggs collide, because if we keep it simple and we have just normal eggs with the same acceleration for bottom, respectively top ramps, then you will never have egg collision because they can never collide. They just, you know, continuously flow down at the same, roughly the same speed towards the center, and there the player tries to catch them. If we add bigger eggs which have bigger acceleration because of, you know, higher mass, then you will have to implement some sort of collision mechanic which actually raises the acceleration of the eggs that the big egg collides into, because it also breaks the whole because if you've done mechanics, you know that when two bodies collide, and they don't, you know, just instantly either evaporate, which happens a lot, or bounce off of each other. If they collide and they stick to each other, then the bigger body gets decelerated and the smaller body gets accelerated. You understand what I'm saying? So the total velocity and acceleration properties of the newly created object need to be calculated, taken into consideration. So that will mean that it will be very complicated to do that, and I'll actually wait before I get into such complicated stuff and just right off the bat have normal acceleration for all of them. So when the eggs are spawning, I will set the acceleration right here. Okay. And also acceleration should be adjusted by screen width and screen difference. So let's go ahead and have another float called acceleration. I think we'll need top and bottom acceleration as well. No, actually we won't. We'll just keep the modifier will be hard coded into the formula over here on the bottom. Any questions? No. Well, I am streaming at 4 hours, so yeah. So acceleration is going to be, let's say if the top speed is 100, let's go for 20 so that it doesn't take more than 20 seconds for you to reach the highest acceleration. So screen width adjuster, right? So over here we'll have the old velocity plus plus acceleration, because the unit of time, no, that's not going to be right. No, we have to do we'll have to do, if it's 20 per second, if it accelerates at 20 pixels per second, then we need to do 20 not times acceleration and I think the correct formulation is like this. Oh, is velocity int? Yeah, no, that's bad. These are going to be floats. Float and float. You can have size as an integer because that's easy, but acceleration must be float. So is that correct? It seems like it is correct. It seems like it. Oh, and we need another modifier for bottom and top. So we'll leave it at that for bottom, and we'll have a slightly higher acceleration for top. So let's go ahead and copy paste that one more time, actually 4 more times. Okay. Where is it? Top speed bottom, top speed bottom, top speed top, top speed top, and we will first multiply the acceleration by 110. Do that first. Why is that a problem? Cat implicitly convert type double to float. There we go, it's a float now. Something's afloat. Bad jokes.inc.org. Right. So we're accelerating the eggs, but that isn't saying much, right? So the next thing that we need to do after this if is actually move the eggs. Oh, and I think I actually made a bit of a mistake. Oh crap. Do I need to go X and Y? Do I need to go for both of them? Not a mistake, as a, you know, something that I didn't think of. Something that I disregarded, which is the fact that the eggs move with a certain velocity both on the, they have to move both on the X and the Y coordinates. Now you can have the same velocity and apply it to both X and Y. Yes, why not? Okay, but how do you apply it? Because you can't just add and subtract. And this is where physics actually comes in, and I should know a lot more about this. because it's 2D movement. And I think this is going to be a lot more complicated than I actually thought of. 2D smooth movement. The proper way for smooth 2D movement. So I was looking for choppy. Every 2 seconds or so, everything would seem to jump backwards 1 frame, then go forwards again. It actually looks like it goes the wrong way from 1 frame and keeps coming. I made a project, stripped out everything, and the issue still happens. The objects that move have a box collider 2D and a rigid body 2D, but gravity is set to 0 and no forces are being applied. I could actually try to use gravity and everything that, you know, box colliders and rigid bodies and stuff like that that Unity has, but I honestly have no idea how they work, and I just want to do it by myself. And I'm kind of adverse to learning in some respects, in that I hate when something is already done and you just have to stick your nose in the manuals and learn everything. It would certainly be rule of thumb when dealing with movement of rigid body enabled objects: never use translate. Instead, set the velocity directly or use rigid body.add force to move around. This is very intimidating to me because it looks like I need like 20 hours of getting into it and trying around, messing around with the Unity things that are already implemented, and I actually don't want that. But it might be something desired in this case, as I might be a bit over my head on this one. Box collider, rigid body, linear drag, angular drag, gravity scale, mass, move script. Increase your movement rate to compensate increase. Right, so usually the speed needs to be a vector too, because you need to modify both axes. So I don't think that I've went correctly about calculating the speed over here. Also, they are using fixed update, which I might have to check out in order to make the game run more smooth. What I'm thinking that I should check out. Transform position, move towards. Right, so this actually might be something that I have to look into, because I completely downplayed the amount of work that this would be. And I might actually want to use rigid bodies. I don't know if I want colliders. Maybe it would be simpler. I don't know. Because the trouble is, and let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. If this is the ramp, this is the ramp, and then we have an egg over here, and then we have the catcher over here. Trouble is, the positions over here of x and y are, let's say, 0, let's get black, going to be 0 and 50. I'm terrible at drawing, and these positions are going to be 50 and 0. So if you have a speed of 10, you'll need to actually move 10, 10, 10, 10, right? I'm guessing that's the correct thing. So you will need to travel from 0 to 50 by adding plus 10 each time, and you'll travel from 50 to 0 by subtracting 10 each time. That actually doesn't look that complicated now that I've put it into drawing. I wonder if I can do it actually. I think I can. I'll just need to decide what actually goes. Yeah, let's go ahead and try that. Why not? Let's go ahead and say egg dot transform dot, is there an x, local position dot x, there is an x. We'll get, in this case, what? What? I don't know. Set. Oh, so I'll need to, okay, I'll need to make a I'll need to do it like so. All right, so I'll need a vector called speed vector, and I'll have a I'll need a vector 2 speed vector Is that not cool? It's a vector 3. Any other vector 3? Oh, it's unassigned. Got it. It's unassigned. And do I need Z? No, I don't need Z. Okay, so, and then speed vector is going to be getting speed vector dot x is going to get egg component velocity and speed vector dot y is going to be same. Is it? If you use the same velocity on something that is on a line, it might not. I'm not sure that the velocity is going to be correct for both x and y, to be honest. And let's define it as a vector of 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that we only modify x and y. And then the local position is going to get the old position, and in this case for bottom left, x is going to increase and y is going to decrease. What? Okay. Coop number 1. Oh, I can't actually say. Let's say ramp number 1. No, not helper. This one. This one has 443 on a Y scale, and helper has 515. So it is going to decrease. And then that's the new thingy. Acceleration will be constant. Okay, let's go ahead and put the other 2 in. The other 3. And we'll go for bottom right is going to be x decreases as well as y. Yes. Top left it's going to be the same and the same. And top right is going to be x decreases as well as y. Okay. And they should be, so right now they're not stopping, they're just continuously going off the map. So these eggs should just be continuously going along that line all the way out of the screen. Let's see if that happens or if it works at all. Okay, so the that's actually really funny. I definitely need to decrease the speed, but as you can see, the amount of x and y is, if you use the same x and y speed, then it's going to be a 45 degree yeah, a 45 degree thing. So that's what I'm going to have to modify. And now I remember from school that you can actually improve that with sinus and cosinus, if I'm not mistaken, or with tangent. We'll see. I'll have to look into it, or maybe I'll look into it next time that I'm doing an episode. But it actually looks very fun right now. I'm very glad that I got it to work until now. Let's just go ahead and maybe, yeah, because this was 45 degrees, so I didn't actually, yeah, obviously, such an obvious thing. But I'm confident now that I don't have to use rigid bodies or anything else that they are doing. And we can check to see if the egg has reached the necessary point or not. So what you want to be doing, because right now we have to think about the next step. So the next step would be when the egg reaches this point, then something has to happen. Ideally, you'd want to have like you'd have to have it like roll down on the y axis a lot faster, as if it was free falling, which, you know, that could be, yeah, that could be implemented, no problem. But you'd have to enable it to be catched, right? So as it is falling, let's say that there is a maximum depth through which the egg can fall before it reaches the floor. I think we should still have colliders. Maybe I'll see if colliders are easily implementable in the meantime and implement them next time that I'm here. But in the meantime, it seems like we have eggs rolling down, and we'll just have to see how exactly we get into collision and stopping them and then despawning them. I still need to look at how they spawn. They are quite fun. Yep, looks good. Anyway, thank you to everybody for watching and listening. I hope you've liked this video. If you did, please leave a like or a comment or whatever. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike or a comment or whatever. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, obviously, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.